Всем привет от Оксаны из Алабамы. Добро пожаловать в наш многогранный семейный канал о жизни в Америке. Итак, друзья, это Доти. Доти, I'm gonna teach you how to say hi in Russian. Привет!
Привет!
Very good. Doty, please tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a registered nurse and I am presently retired.
How many kids do you have?
I had 3 children. I presently have 2. Our youngest boy died when he was 11.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Well, the Lord had a special place for him.
How old are you?
I'm over 70.
Doty, what do you know about World War II?
Well, I was a very little girl during the war. There are some things I do remember about it. Because the Japanese bombed Hawaii, that is why America got into World War II. Before that time, England had been begging the United States to be part of it, to help them. But our elected officials were very, very hesitant to, enter into it because of all of the stuff from World War I. But you would hear things on the radio, or you would hear your parents talking. The other thing I remember a very lot about was when Russia was invaded by Germany. And I felt so bad because, as I said, I was a little girl, and I knew that those children's daddies and uncles were there in those very cold, stormy, snowy areas, fighting the Germans to tell them to go back out of their country. And I remember thinking, I felt sorry for the children because my daddy wasn't in the war. I had 3 uncles that were in the war. I don't know exactly what they did because, again, I was very small. But what we were taught in school, and it was things that we had to learn, we had history and geography. And geography was showing us on a map where places were and what happened, what happened when the Germans went into specific countries and what happened to those peoples, and especially what happened to the Jewish population of those countries. And, back then, people didn't think that they could have these terrible camps.
Doty, please tell us what they talk about Russians and in American media.
There is a big difference between Russians, the people, and the government of Russia. There is a big difference between American, the people, and the American government. I perceive, and my impressions of Russian people are from those that I have met that are in the United States. I've never been to Russia, but they're delightful people, they're intelligent people, and they have the same cares and concerns about their families back in Russia that we have about our families here in the United States. Most Americans don't think of Russians and the people as anything but people like them that speak a different language and maybe have food variations different than what we have. But we're the same, whether we live in Russia, whether we live in America, whether we live in France. We're the same as people, and we have the same values. We want our children to grow up with good educations, to be healthy, and to be strong adults.
Perfect. Thank you, Doty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If I may go on a tangent here, in high school they taught us World War II. We got bombed by Pearl Harbor. We jumped into the war. We saved the world. They never taught us in high school that if they teach you World War II history at all, at least in the state of Florida, they don't teach you that Russia played a huge part in the war, and we have to be very grateful and thankful for that, because if Hitler had conquered Russia easily and he had Europe He was going to come to the United States. He was going to come. He already had generals. You're in charge of Florida, and this general's in charge of Alabama. Study it. And so he had it mapped out. Yes. And so we have to be thankful for the sacrifice that Russia and Soviet Union played in the Great Patriotic War. We have to be thankful. And they don't teach us that in high school America, and I'm disappointed. And but countries have their agenda, governments have their agenda. I understand that.
Итак, друзья, спасибо за внимание.
Спасибо, до свидания.
Perfect.
Дорогие мои внуки и внучки, я поздравляю вас. Желаю вам всем добра, здоровья и жизни, хорошей жизни.